November is non-fiction November, so barring one book, every single book on my TBR this month is going to be non-fiction. So let's start with that one fiction book that I have, which is Before We Say Goodbye by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is the fourth book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series, and I am reading this for the Found Family prompt that we have for the Total Bollocks readathon, where we read a book each month. Excited for this one. Everything else is non-fiction. I have too much on this TBR, and I know I do. I couldn't choose between these three books, so I will mention them at the end because I don't know which ones I'll actually get to. First up is going to be the book I'm going to listen to via audio for this month, and that is Becoming by Michele Obama. I've been meaning to listen to this by audio for a while. I actually found this and The Promised Land by Barack Obama in a charity shop next to each other, so of course I had to grab this. This is her memoir. Quite simply. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been told that it's really well written, it's really interesting, really intriguing, and that the audiobook specifically is really good, so I am excited to dive in. Then a book that I'm going to be buddy reading with Carrie from Caring for Books, and that is The Earth Transformed by Peter Frankopan. This edition is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life, and I am very excited to actually read this, but it's also going to be a difficult read, so I'm glad that I'm doing it as a buddy read with Carrie, because this way we will be accountable. Carrie is better at this than me, so she would probably read it regardless, but this is going to make me accountable to actually reading it. I'm not sure yet exactly how we're going to split it up. It is about 650, just over 650 pages, so maybe 50 pages a day and we'll get through, maybe 25, we'll see how it breaks up, but I'm looking forward to it. This book is talking about how natural disasters impact global human history throughout the ages. Very excited for this one, obviously really like history, really like natural disasters. That sounds bad. The other one that isn't of the contested three is Svenska Fåglar. This is a kids book in Swedish, all about Swedish birds. I mentioned this a couple of times, but especially in my Scandinavian haul. I got this when I was in Sweden, and I am going to try and read this. It's going to be difficult because I don't speak Swedish, but this is what I'm trying to learn. It's basically like a Pokédex of birds native to Sweden. We do have quite a lot of similar birds here in the UK, so it should be something that I could also use here, which is nice and helpful, and it's adorable. Very excited. Now for the three that are contested. Two of them are two of the oldest non-fiction books I have had on my TBR for years now. One is from the aforementioned Carrie, and that is Flyboys by James Bradley. This is a non-fiction about World War II American fighter pilots. This is all I know. It's been on my TBR forever. I used to love reading World War II non-fiction. It's been a while since I've kind of delved back into that, so this should be interesting. I know a lot less about American fighter pilots than I do about British. I've just seen a map in the front of this that seems to suggest that they are going west rather than east, so I will learn something new from this if I choose to pick this one up. This one is my oldest, and that is Pompeii by Mary Beard. This intimidates seems like the wrong word, but like the writing is tiny and it's non-fiction, so I've just been putting this off. I've had this for actual years. The receipt is in here. Does it say the date? I got this on the 31st of July 2016. But Mary Beard is renowned for being an amazing Roman historian. She knows so much about ancient Rome. I'm really wanting to read this, and it is only, I think, like 8 chapters? 9 chapters, and an introduction and an epilogue and stuff like that, but like it seems doable, but I'm also nervous. We'll see. And then the last one, really, I was just, for some reason I've decided I want to read it. I guess that's what all these TBRs are. And this is Fabulosa by Paul Baker, and this is essentially a history of Polari, which started out as a traveller, immigrant language that was used to keep them safe from the police, and ended up evolving into being primarily utilised by the LGBTQ+ community in the 60s. A lot of the parlance from this has actually entered modern day standard British English. I don't know how much into American English, but for example, if you're going to zhuzh something up, zhuzh, that's Polari. Lots of random little words like that you just wouldn't think of, and a lot of it also comes from Italian, and they're just saying Italian words with a full English accent. So I'm really excited to learn more about the history of this. I did also see a TikTok of this recently. Is that why this is in my head? Probably. But yes, so these all have like less than 10 chapters each, and so like theoretically try to read 1 chapter a day, but then at the same time, am I overworking myself? Yes. So these 3, I'm going to do something similar to what I did in my October TBR, where these 3 are not actually on the TBR, even though they are. Like, I want to read them, they are on my TBR, but if I don't get to them, it's fine, it's not the end of the world. Whereas these other 4 books are actually on my TBR. So, just to recap, we have The Earth Transformed by Frankopan, Svenska Fåglar by Martin Emtenäs and Jonas Källberg. We've got Becoming by Michele, and we have Before We Say Goodbye by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Far too much in languages I don't speak and am butchering, but I'm very excited for all 4 of these. I struggled quite a lot to pick my TBR for this month. I still have every single one of my non-fiction books on my TBR just on the floor because I was trying to go through them and pick which ones I was actually going to read, and oh my god, I struggled. I sat there with them all around me on the floor, but these are the ones I have decided on. The rest will have to wait. I'm both proud and disappointed in myself that none of these are volcano books. I have a few of those. But I think The Earth Transformed is just so big and on the same topic that we'll just stick with just one. There'll be volcanoes in there. So, I already know some of the eruptions specifically that will be in there if it's been done well. So we will see. Let me know down below if you are participating in Non-Fiction November. I know that a lot of people on BookTube prefer just to stick to fiction, so I am actually going to have a video coming out next weekend, which is going to be 10 different books across non-fiction that I think that people might want to pick up, that's slightly different and a little less intimidating than some of the non-fiction that we all read, like the Giant Earth Transformed book. If you are reading a non-fiction book, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to know your recommendations, what you're reading. Non-fiction is so vast and so underrepresented here on YouTube, so very excited for that. Thank you so much for watching, folks. If you would like to see what I do end up reading, if I do manage to read all 3 of these or none of them, then please do hit subscribe down below to be notified when I release my wrap-up video. And I will see you folks in the next one. Bye!